Hey people, it's Wall here with Wallcraft. We're going to be running some Maul West in just a moment. Let me get everything set up and started, make sure that everything's working accordingly. Let's see how she goes. We're running some Maul West in just a moment. Let me get everything set up and started. Excellent, excellent. Everything's working accordingly. Alright, boyos, let's do this. Yeah, we're gonna hit some Maul West, Crescent Key. We've got the classic triple paladin group. Some synergy here. Yeah, the Vectus neck is. Maul West, aside from tuning, has not been changed yet. I haven't added any traps or anything, so it's a bit default compared to other dungeons, but I still need to test difficulty and kind of get a feel how it is. Shit, what is a two-handed sword? I need to find the Jandis Barov one. Set my headphones here. Oh yeah, yeah, Ringblade is good. Yeah, I just don't want Shram. Shram's fucking absolutely crazy. Shram is better than EWL weapons. Shram is something. Set up. Eye for eye with blessing sacrifice rules. At some point I do need to restart the SQL server. I'm getting a bit of latency. It's probably because of that power outage we had. My internet going down. That'll come later, though. It's good for now.
Pleased to meet you.
The Narrated suit, fancy lad, Ron. With the
Hi, how are you?
It don't get no better than this. But I've got devil. Actually, I don't even know if we jump. Yeah, screw it. Go around. Wait, you have devil? Oh, I got devil. really wish I didn't choose monitor capsules. tunnel to the library. Yeah, we're gonna go, let's go Susie. See if she's up. No, Susie. Ah, we don't have that warlock either. Let's try and sneak through this part. This fucking part's horrible. We don't have detectives though. Game volume slightly loud. Yeah, I'm going to turn this down. My master volume is cranked way the fuck up. Alright, that should be a lot better. Stay directly on top of me. Yeah, we're going to try and sneak through. These ghosts are awful. If we pull something, do not move. Try and find it directly where we stand. So we can get blasted. Oh no, oh no, no, no. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do we have DI? We have DI. Either. Don't release. I'm just about this. Got symbols. Do I have a DI? No, I don't. Stay grouped. Make sure you stay on top of them. Fuck. Focus the Spectre. Focus the Spectre first. Spectre down. Lay on hands. Don't move off the ledge. Don't move off the ledge. Get that Spectre down. Bobble. Bobble it. Bobble up. Oh, this part is such a bitch. But no, it didn't get any easier. got Magister up here. Where is he? No, he's over here. Yeah. We don't have detected this, so I don't know what the hell is in his way. I'm gonna try and pull him around, maybe. Gamer, put up the charismatic as well. Actually, just let's clear it. Let's just clear out. Oh god. We got another that's coming in. Up some technical top. There we go. Watch out. We probably have another Spectre patrolling here. Sorry, my iPhone broke it. Ooh, boy. Never an easy time in this fucking room. Don't heal me yet. Don't heal me. No. Super nice piece too. Like the one shot. That nobody ever uses. Those are nice though. Those are really good Cali bracers. In fact, those are better than mine. I should have taken them. I'm gonna take them. Straight up better than mine. No, SKL, you can't use Holy Light on Undead, but I am considering making that a change to make it more in line with the original Warcraft games, where you can use Holy Light to DPS Undead. If I go that route, though, I'll probably just change Holy Wrath, because Holy Wrath wasn't a thing in Warcraft originally. Okay, we're just going to deal with the Pylon. Or all the other shit. Watch out, though, there's a Spectre over there. Do I have a holy hand grenade? Holy hand. Oh no. Who's stuck? Oh, there we go. A little late for that. We gotta no. Okay. Can the door... Okay, the door finally got up. It wouldn't necessarily require a cooldown on use. The way that Flash of Light actually works right now is that it casts a healing spell off of a different spell. I could turn Holy Light into the same thing, and then just have it be able to target unfriendly units that are undead. Good thing we're in Priebus, otherwise we would have like but we're playing slow. Kinda wanted to just test difficulty on damage values, and since this is Dire Maul West and not even North or Tribute, it's feeling pretty difficult, which is good. Not impossible, but we definitely have to be more careful with these pulls. Oh, like that. Stay out there. He's evading. Oh, gamer bubble. Hey boys, let's focus on this over here. No, I wouldn't even add a cooldown. You would just be able to spam it to damage undead and demons. It would give paladins a viable casting option versus undead and demons. But there's really no point. Like, it's a Warcraft 3 thing. If anything, I would just remove the cooldown from Holy Wrath. That way you just spam out Holy Wrath. They made Holy Wrath castable on Turtle. I mean, it's definitely a consideration, just because it's an original Warcraft thing. But in the same vein, I'd rather just make Holy Wrath better than Holy Light. Than making Holy Light a spell for DPS. Stop. I don't know where that Warlock went, but we should have gotten the detect invis buff before he left. Alright. Nuke one and trap the other. Trap on square, or X, whatever. we have shadow resistance. I have 135 shadow resistance, that's why. He was hitting me for 3,600 non-crit. And NPCs can't actually spell crit, but spell vulnerability does exist here. Let's see the combat log. Vulnerability taking place. And vulnerability exists. We just haven't gotten hit by it yet. Good day. Yeah, the damage values are significantly higher. It's because HP values are significantly higher. Like, overall, when all said and done, you see like 20 to 30% damage increase. Health and damage increases. I wish I could turn the... I have to turn up the decibel, so apparently just turn down the volume a bit more. My sound settings are all fucked up. I had to reinstall my OS the other day, so I lost all my settings. I gotta redo them. I haven't done a stream since that point. Should be a lot better now. I wouldn't call it easy. We might have double the HP, but the mobs do more than double the damage. Close to it. And the big thing is, people don't consider. They say, oh, the HP values are doubled, but healing values are not doubled, so... That's because I tuned everything for healing as the limiter. So really, instead of tank or DPS gear, which obviously tank and DPS gear also plays a factor into healing, but if you go down the chain of design in vanilla WoW, it typically falls on how much damage you can deal within X amount of time, because the more damage you deal, the less necessary it is to have good tanks or healers. We got an invader. Jump down. In vanilla WoW, the limiting factor really is DPS, traditionally. And that's because the more damage you deal, the less healing you need, and the less important the role of the tank is. On Wallcraft, it's different. Healing is the delimiting factor. DPS and tanking are tertiary to that, and obviously directly correlate to it. The more mitigation you have, the less healing you need. The more DPS you do, the less healing you need. But healing is the #1 restrictor to fights. If you can't out-heal the damage, then you won't survive. So everything is tuned around the healer. That puts much greater emphasis on healing. And the way that healing functions, there's a greater spread too. Some instances, you know, a shaman, a paladin, a druid, or a priest might be ideal compared to the others. Can I make Fear Ward castable in shadow form? Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Stay back. I'm gonna Holy Wrath pull. Oh. Good enough. How many active players? There's like 50 people that cycle in and out. There's a lot of people that'll log on and check new updates and stuff. Typically, if you log in, you'll see, 3 to 5 people hanging out. Once I release the 1 to 60 beta server, it's going to be a lot more populated, but chances are the beta server will release without the war mode functions added. It'll likely be very similar to what it currently is, just because that's going to be the next big step. When I say 2024 launch, people think that I'm jesting, but no, there's a lot of work left to do. And likely during the summer, I'm not going to be doing a ton of development work, just because I got other shit going on, so there's a lot of other things I want to do, and I'd like to make some money this summer so I don't have to worry so much about maintenance of it. I want to buy more hardware. I need some bare metal, and I need some steel. You know what I mean? You know. Oh, fuck. Okay, good. Only got 3. I thought I had 4. Focus skull. Can we get a trap on one? Get a trap on one. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I wouldn't call it necessarily reflected in. Primarily because you do a shit ton of threat through Reckoning now. Single target. Prop Paladin is primarily single target. The design is based entirely on the Brady game strategy I designed, so less emphasis on AoE tanking, more so on single target. If I were to say the best AoE tank, it's definitely Feral Druid. Feral Druid is the best AoE tanking. I mean, it's relatively... Feral Druid is on top, Paladin and Shaman and Warrior. Well, I would say Feral Druid and then Paladin and then Shaman and Warrior are tied. Rogue tanking and Hunter tanking are viable for non-raid bosses, but they have, like, no AoE. You gotta focus on the kill target. You're hitting stuff that I'm not hitting, man. You're gonna be tanking. You're not gonna have a good time. Watch out. We got Farah. Oh god, the aggro range. Oh no, no, no. DI, DI, DI. Incoming. Oh, fuck it. The aggro range is insane on them. Yeah, we don't want to be caught in their control. We have to hide from them. Just wipe it. Just wipe it. Don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Just wipe. There we go. Hide. Yeah, I would release right now while they're running back. Get that DI off. There we go. get far back. Get far back. They're gonna see you from there. I'm actually gonna wait to take that res. Druid has... Oh, okay. Warrior has the best mitigation and the highest single target threat, but a bit mediocre in the AoE threat. Probably the lowest AoE threat, tied with Shaman maybe. Shaman is similar. They have low mitigation, but actually I can't even say Warrior has the highest. Let me rephrase. Warrior has the best mitigation. Shaman has the highest single target threat. Paladin has the, I would say, most balanced kit in terms of tanking, and Druid has the greatest AoE kit. They're all capable of tanking, you know, anything that comes their way. A Shaman can tank a raid boss or AoE tank. Same for a Druid, a Paladin, a Warrior. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, but the differences are a lot more balanced than, obviously, traditionally speaking. A Hunter has the best kiting ability, especially with Trapper's Net and Disengage. They can disengage mobs after Trapper's Netting and slowing them. Rogue has the highest amount of avoidance, but obviously will take the most amount of damage. They also have... Rogue has very good single target threat. I wouldn't try and tank a raid boss with a Hunter or a Rogue because of the way that Wallcraft is designed. All bosses are skull level, and all bosses will crush every unmitigated attack. So if you don't have uncrushability, which Rogue and Hunter don't, you get your ass slapped really hard. So being uncrushable is very important for tanking a raid boss. Druid is not immune to crushing blows, but they have a natural kit that's designed to work around that. Oh god, we pulled. Okay, get buffed. We're gonna fight him. We're gonna fight. Just get buffed. We're gonna fight. Focus boss. Don't hit the bear. Focus the boss. Pull that bear. I'm not gonna be able to bolt back. Unless I got seal on. Yeah, so the way that it works though is like you'll see this boss, Ilyana, normally she's like level 59. Well, all bosses in dungeons and raids are skull. You can tank dungeon bosses without being crush immune, that's fine, but raid bosses all crush and blow every attack. And so do even dungeon bosses. So you can obviously evade the attacks and not be crushed by them, but it's definitely not something you want to be relying on. Crushing blows are pretty devastating. Yeah, if I were to say, if I were to give a summary of all the tanks and their kits individually, I would say Warrior has mitigation, Paladin has, see, it's hard to even sum it up in a single word. I would say you'd have to use a few. Paladin has, for example, Paladin has very strong single target threat, and good cooldowns, and good mitigation. I got the key. But less overall mitigation than a Warrior. So overall, from a harder hitting enemy, you'll take more damage, but from multiple smaller enemies, as a Paladin, you'll take less damage. Shaman has, you know, balls to the wall. Low mitigation in terms of armor. You have a high amount of dodge, but your parry and your block are kind of shit. Focus the kill targets here. Focus the kill targets. You're hitting random stuff. Individual. look what I'm hitting, and if you're not hitting what I'm hitting, you're gonna pull aggro and die. Let's ignore the other one. Yeah, for instance, Shaman has the highest single target threat, like in game. They have the lowest mitigation out of the 4 tanks. Lowest dodge, lowest parry. Well, they have high dodge, low parry, low block. They're mostly threat tanks. You can imagine an enhancement shaman tank as being like a fury prot warrior in vanilla that people like to play. If you shackle a caster mob, it's breaking from eye for eye. So like an enhancement shaman tank is going to be like Fury Prot in that regard. You kind of forsake defenses for very high threat single target. And their AoE threat is alright, but it's not the greatest. Druid, on the other hand, has extremely high AoE threat with Swipe. The new rework for Swipe, which deals base damage based on your attack power. And then Crush, obviously, is a very strong tool for single target damage and threat, but less single target threat on a druid than a warrior or a paladin or a shaman. Much higher AoE threat. Paladin has good AoE threat, good single target threat, good mitigation. Paladin is, I would say, like the most overall well-balanced, well-rounded tank. They have good cooldowns, good single target, good AoE threat, but they're not supreme in any of the regards. For single target tanking, for instance, they'll do good threat, but have less mitigation than a warrior. Less threat than a shaman. For AoE tanking, they have more AoE threat than shaman or warrior, but less than a druid. Their cooldowns are worse than a warrior's, all things considered. Shield wall just being extremely strong. Watch out for the pats here. Warrior and Paladin have the most well-rounded kits, I would say. Warrior's biggest deficiency is their range threat. If they have to hold threat at range, it's pretty lackluster. Shaman, in terms of mitigation, has the worst mitigation against physical damage, but they actually do have the best mitigation against spell damage. So if you're tanking something like Baron Geddon, a shaman, enhancement shaman, would take less damage than the other tanks. A shaman, for instance, would be the best Geddon tank, just because their talents reduce all spell damage that they take from fire, frost, and nature. We're gonna hide behind here, stack up. Wait for the pat. We're not gonna fight the pats, we don't need to. Yeah, but the key differences between the tanks, you might say to yourself, oh, this tank is the best for the situation, but you'll never think to yourself, oh, I wish we didn't have this class tanking this. Like, pick any of the four. They're all viable. The biggest key, though, is balancing and having all three in your raid. You want a druid, a warrior, and a shaman or paladin. You basically, each raid 40-man should have 3 tanks, and you can use other classes or other players for off-tanking. Nice. Focus, focus, focus. We're hitting the wrong targets. Why are you hitting the wrong target? Come on. Hit the right target. You're wasting resources by hitting the wrong target because the other ones aren't dying fast enough. I'll mark them if you need them, but you should be using a assist. Macro the assist key, so you can just target whatever I'm targeting. Not necessarily, just if SKL asks, so basically vanilla prot issue with some range mob packs is not a warrior issue. No, you can pull just fine, but if you have a caster that's sitting off at the distance, how are you going to hold aggro on them as a warrior? They don't have a kit for it, whereas a druid could use spells if needed. Druid's probably the second worst compared to warrior. Shaman's reflected damage is pretty decent, but like paladin has eye for eye, which just straight up deals 25% of spell damage taken. So like if there was a caster off in the distance, I could just sit there as a paladin and hold aggro on it as long as he's casting on me and hitting me with the spells, because of the reflected damage. So like there's different niches and tools that make each tank better than the others in certain situations, but I wouldn't say, oh, this is universally the best tank. Like if I had to say who is universally the best tank, it'd be Warrior. Warrior just has the best overall, well-balanced kit. Druid, Shaman, and Paladin though are equally as good. If you had to pick who's gonna main tank the raid and you had each class that were equally geared, you'd take the Warrior as the main tank, and the Shaman, the Paladin, Druid as the off tanks. But that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Warrior should be the go-to tank. There's never going to be a situation though where you show up to a raid and say, "Oh, great, we have a Shaman tanking. I guess it's going to be a 3-hour Molten Core run." If you have a Shaman tanking, you're going to be speed running it because you're going to be murdering everything as fast as possible. The biggest thing is each tank class has the necessary toolkit to get the job done. And it really comes more so down to player performance. There's no... You know, it's an antiquated idea that people hold where they see, oh, it's vanilla WoW, so this has to be like this. It's not necessary. It's Wallcraft. Oh, and all the wands. That's such a nice wand too. 16 arcane spell damage. That's super good. If I was a Night Elf Priest, I would even use that. So, Star Shard is really nice. Oh, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Burn asks, will vanilla classes, for example, Alliance only Paladin? Yes, that is a fundamental aspect of vanilla, is that Shamans are Horde and Paladins are Alliance. They'll never be cross-faction. In fact, it's more so amplified in the regard that I've balanced out the factions so you're not missing a tool that the other faction has. They're just implemented often in the opposite way. So like, whereas a Paladin will use a totem to achieve an effect, a Shaman will use a totem to achieve an effect, a Paladin will use a aura. Or where a Shaman uses a hard spell to achieve an effect, Paladin will use a melee ability. So, they often have the same end, but the means of getting there is different, often opposite. But yes, that's a fundamental aspect of vanilla, is that Shamans are Horde and Paladins are Alliance. I don't ever plan on changing that, or adding cross-faction. In fact, there's more inter-faction wars. With war mode, you'll be fighting people in your own faction more often than not. So you'll find Paladins fighting other Paladins, and Shamans fighting other Shamans. Depending on your guild, of course, and the situation. My philosophies are taken from the original 2004 Brady Games official strategy guide. So I wouldn't even call them necessarily my own. More so just the original alpha design concepts that were either phased out or replaced by later developers. So there's some things that stand true, and some things that should stand true. But oof. We have charismatic up. We're missing auras. A really good example is the new Alliance version of Wind Fury, which is Seal of Command, the judgment effect from it. Essentially, I don't want there to be imbalances between the factions, but I don't want their kits to be the same. I think that they should be radically different, but should achieve the same end. So, for instance, in traditional vanilla, Horde has Wind Fury, and Alliance has Salvation. While in Wallcraft, threat reduction buffs are largely done away with. You still have Salvation, Seal of Salvation, but that's a 30-second cooldown single target. So you more so put it on one specific person who you know is going to be pulling a lot of aggro on the pull, and you can help fix their threat so that they're not over-aggroing. For instance, I should be using it on Firefly here. And Tranquil Air Totem is done away with. Tranquil Air now has... Oh, fuck. Okay, murder. Pop cooldowns and murder. Just murder. Pop everything you got. Go on next skull, Sacrificing. Next, watch out. Lay on hands. Watch out for the explosion. Get the heal. Okay, good. Skull, go on skull. Ah, excellent. Okay, we lost the priest. Whew. Double lay on hands there. That was brutal. Well, the Paladin was... No, the Paladin was... The original Alpha Paladin didn't get implemented. The Paladin was in the game during Beta and Alpha. They didn't get added after the game launched. They were changed 2 weeks before the game launched to a radically different seal and judgment system. Yeah, that was a lot of layout hands. Was that 3? 1.12. The client doesn't calculate any of the formulas, though those are entirely server-side. So there's a lot of different calculations in Wallcraft. The client is the original vanilla 1.12 client, though. So there is a few fundamental differences, but that's mostly on the user's end. You know, things like focus targets and stuff like that. Native with the vanilla client. All of the math and calculations are handled server-side, not by the client. Stuff like formulas are server-side targeting. But as I was saying, as an example of faction balancing, how I'd like to approach balancing so that they meet at the same end, but in a radically different way. In vanilla, your threat fixes for Alliance were Salvation, and for Horde you had Tranquil Air, which was far inferior. You couldn't use Tranquil Air on the tank group, obviously. So for Wallcraft, Tranquil Air now has the Consecration Aura effect. 35% chance of ignoring interruption and pushback when damaged. So Tranquil Air achieves that effect now, which Horde was missing. And for Wind Fury, the Alliance has Seal of Command, which places a debuff on the target. And whenever a friendly target strikes that enemy target, which has the debuff, they gain Seal of Command themselves. Seal of Command is now scripted to only proc off of main hands. Previously it wasn't any concern, because obviously Paladin can't dual wield in vanilla. But this is just to make sure that it's on par in terms of balance for Wind Fury, because Wind Fury obviously only affects main hand weapons, as it's weapon imbue. And vanilla weapon imbues can only affect main hand. One of the key reasons. Focus skull, please. Yeah, so like Wallcraft has the original seal system, which is more like blessings. The blessings are the original auras, and blessings, as we know them, now require Symbol of Kings and have a cooldown associated with them. So in Wallcraft, blessings are powerful short-term buffs that require a Symbol of Kings to use and have a cooldown. Seals are 30-second buffs that are obviously less empowered but have some prolific effects, or profound effects, I should say. Is that the last of it? Okay, yeah, good. Charismatic Aura. Dip, dive, duck, dodge. And dodge, whatever it was. There we go. Yeah, so like you have Seal of Fury. You don't have Righteous Fury anymore, you have Seal of Fury, which is the original pre-1.9. It got removed during AQ in vanilla and replaced with Righteous Fury. Same effect as normal, but obviously the original Seal systems didn't have a Judgment component. Seal of Fury did because it was in the game all the way up to 1.9, so it had a Judgment effect, as opposed to the original Alpha blessings, which were the Seal system, essentially. God, damage. There we go. Okay. Oh boy, look at what we got. That's crazy loot, actually. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, that's even better than Medallion of Grand Marshal Morris, since it's post-nerf, which I'd rather keep. I option to keep Evil Eye Pendant better than Medallion, because I don't believe a 52 BOE should be this. Should be something from a dungeon. Yeah, those are both really yummy. I actually have to... No, never mind, that's Crest, not a Grail. Yeah, I'm gonna greed roll on that. That's better than mine. Sick. Okay. Now we have to go back. Can't remember where we have to go. We have to go back by the library. No. That's 8 auras in total. That's plenty good amount. 8 auras in total with talents, of course, bringing it to 9. But that's one paladin per group, 1 aura per group, and obviously you won't use all of them anyways in a raid environment. Originally I wanted 7 auras, 7 seals, and 7... Oh god. Yeah, just pull them out, pull them out, pull them out. I got charismatic aura on. It's fine, just pull them out. Pull him back, please. Pull him back. Let's stun him. Over here, pull him back. coefficients are based on the vanilla 6-second rule. 6 seconds is 100% coefficient, hence why Pyroblast has the highest coefficient of 1 to 1. Yeah, because they're not party-based. So, ideally, let's say you're playing in Alterac Valley, you probably have like 5 to 6 paladins. So, that's plenty good. Some auras are more PvE oriented. But frankly, they're all good. For example, a way that I shaved down the auras, I brought back the original Alpha Resistance aura, which combines all 3. So, and it's even better than all 3 because it gives resistance to all schools of magic, not just the 3 that you typically see. Unholy Aura is from Runeblade of Rivendare. Got slapped. There's multiple aggro. Careful, he doesn't aggro drop. Multiple aggro. And nobody judges Void. You have to use Judgment of Salvation. What happens if he double slaps? Nobody judges Wisdom anyway. Can you just feign death? Nice crossbow. And nice dagger. Ooh. Sick boots. Iburn asks what races can main Paladin and Shaman respectively. The same ones as always. There's no expansion to that. Eventually there will be custom classes, custom race combos, but that requires a custom client. I'd rather just stick with using a patch 3 instead of a custom client, just for transparency's sake. I'm not a huge fan of custom clients because you don't really know what you're running. It's more secure for the end user and more trustworthy to just be able to use whatever client you want. No Paladin. That will never be a thing. I can assure you. The next thing that I add if I do custom race class combos is going to be Dwarf Mage, because that's originally in beta. Alpha WoW. That was a fucking tough run, undoubtedly. We're in total Prebis gear too. Enchanted Prebis. We were sloppy, we didn't CC anything, and we just kind of papegaed our way through, but yeah, I got it. Yeah, let's refight him. Let's refight him. Let's try and do like a little bit cleaner. Yeah, we had to triple lay on hands for that. That was the hardest. Do I intend to make class racials? You mean outside of priests? Class-specific racial abilities? Not particularly, because that's more of a priest-exclusive thing. Priest-exclusive feature. And that's explained in the Brady Games guide, why that is. It's because Blizzard, the original designers, felt that each priest should essentially bring a different theological aspect to their gameplay. Which, obviously, could be applied to others, but my tongue's pressing. So level. Man, that is a nice chest piece. And that's a nice mace. That's actually one of the best tanky maces. The mace is really good. Yeah, my apologies if the bit rate's kind of low. It's mostly just because I'm using monitor capture right now. I didn't have anything configured. I had to reinstall my OS, so this was just kind of fly-by-night setup right now just to show some of the difficulty. Yeah, I do need more spell hit. It's less so spell hit, but the resistance factor. His judgments can't actually, or shouldn't be able to miss. I don't think taunt can miss. I think that he just has resistance to it. Do you have more information on that? I mean, there's a lot of little things that people, I'll put it this way, there's a lot of fantasies that people daydream about and it gets their little nuts quaking, but what is the practical aspect of it? Wallcraft is designed for 500 versus 500 world PvP. I don't think racials on a warrior are going to make or break that type of gameplay. That's more so delving into the RP aspect. There's a lot of projects that attempt to do that, and I do as well, but it's just a time constraint thing. If I could go through and add specific racials to every race class combo, I would, but it's like, I got a million other things I gotta do first. If you found info, though, of the designs and the ideas already fleshed out by the original game developers that I could implement, then I would definitely do it. Just because I wouldn't have to do too much thinking about it. I try and, like I said, keep it originally, or the design basis around original design notes of the game, and the white papers for it. I don't think that there's any more bosses in here. Can we kill the lore keeper? No. We could go Dire Maul East. Yeah, if they have like design notes for it, if it's just like discussions about what they would have done, then it's a little bit more.
You need something?
A little bit more difficult on that.
Light be with you. Hello.
Oh yeah, I got the scribe station here.
What can I do for you?
Yeah. There were a few things that I want, but I think that the overall, the racials are pretty unique to it. Let's see. Let me go Dire Maul East. We're gonna do Dire Maul East later tonight. Just because I got some stuff I'd like to get done. I had considered that what I've actually done though is Will of the Forsaken classifies you undead for the duration. So you're able to be affected by things like Shackle and Turn Undead. While you're under the effects of Will of the Forsaken. It also makes you immune to things like you know, things that are specific towards humanoids only. Like Repentance. Iburn, you can go ahead and log right into the server right now and check out the talents. They're all fully redone. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of intricacy to them. Way too much to really explain for each individual class, but they're more in line with the original design, expanded for high-octane vanilla gameplay. So you'll see a lot of things that are old, a lot of things that are new, a lot of things that were scrapped, finally rebrought to life, fleshed out and finished. There's a lot of things that are custom, a lot of things that are from later expansions, or inspired by designs from later expansions. For instance, Discipline Priest has Penance. Hunter has Disengage. Things like Take Aim are totally unique to Wallcraft. Ghostly Strike is like a way better version of Ghostly Shadow Step. There's a lot of different nuances to the design, but just playing through, we have monthly tournaments, monthly PvP tournaments that you can come participate in, and the server's up 24/7. Just check it out at wallcraft.org. You're more than happy to, more than free to log on at any time and explore and play. Long time ago, it did, but that was scrapped, so I brought that back. Another one that I had resurfaced was the original Blood Fury, the original Orc racial, which is fucking overpowered. Honestly, it's overpowered, but I like it. I think it should be overpowered. It's a really good effect. Do I have an Orc is the question. Actually, don't. Orc. Read the tooltip of the original Blood Fury. It's basically like a Skull of Impending Doom effect. While active, increases strength by 25%, but causes 5% health loss every 3 seconds, last 20 seconds. So every 3 seconds you take self-damage, meaning you can't be polyed, you can't be sapped during Blood Fury. You take damage. You can die from it. Let's see. See my health. Taking damage every 3 seconds here. Suicide. When the server launches, the full launch, you will need a verified Discord account. For the time being, the alpha server, just register on the website. You don't need to verify. During full launch, though, you will need a verified Discord account, and that's to prevent botting. It's basically impossible to run a bot farm when you have to verify a phone number with a Discord account just to register for the website. So that totally prevents botting and cheating. And it helps me prevent people from, abusing things in the server. But yeah, this is the original Blood Fury. This is how it was in early stages of vanilla. They changed it to that garbage 25% attack power and then 50% less healing version, which is totally worthless. It's awful. Trolls regenerate fully while in combat, so your full health regen continues while in combat, coupled with the reworks to Spirit. That makes trolls a very good, very competitive race to choose for whatever you want to play. Especially Warrior, I would say, because they benefit more so from Spirit than other classes, and in Wallcraft, Spirit will grant Warriors moderate amount of attack power. Troll Shamans, Troll Warriors are very strong because of their Spirit-based attack power. So the Troll regen is also very strong. For example, if you have dungeon gear, let's say you have a full Dungeon 0 set, and you're playing a Troll Warrior, you're going to regenerate like 200 health every 5 seconds. It makes them very difficult to kill without focusing damage into them and bursting them. Yeah, I mean, you can use virtual SIM cards, but if you're really going to go through all of that effort to bot on a small name private server, yeah. And it's a lot easier for me to control access if I see somebody's doing something like that, registering gibberish accounts on Discord. It's like, it's a lot harder. In addition, you need to have your Discord account verified for more than a week in order to register. You can't just make a Discord account or make 200 Discord accounts. Like, you'd have to wait out the time for it, so it's just like, it just creates so many barriers that it's not worth it. Coupled with the fact, too, that it's a smaller server, I just don't see it being profitable for people to bot. You can multi-box on Wallcraft. I allow multi-boxing. The issue is you need to get multiple keys, and I only award multiple keys to Patreon supporters. I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with a person multi-boxing, provided that they are playing the accounts themselves. A lot of people like doing that. They like playing an account and having a healer account follow them around so that they can, heal themselves. I have no problem with that. I find that a valid form of gameplay. Again, though, that's limited to Patreon supporters primarily. In order to register multiple accounts and obtain multiple keys, you're going to need to basically go through that avenue, and that helps pay for the server costs. I actually can't remember if I've implemented the Will of the Forsaken Undead effect. I'm pretty sure I have, though. Yeah, you're considered undead for the duration of the effect. That makes you susceptible, though, to things like Shackle and Turn Undead. Even though the duration is only 5 seconds, if you get shackled or turned during that duration, it will persist after the effect ends. The debuff won't fade. I actually don't have Pyroclasm. Oh, I want AF. That's fine. The new Warlock Pyroclasm is so nice. Check out Warlock's Pyroclasm. Your soul fire causes the ground beneath the target to ignite for 30 seconds, dealing damage equal to half your fire spell power every second. It is a devastating thing to be standing in. You definitely don't want to be standing in that. Does a lot of damage. Yes, your Blood Fury will increase the primary stat of your class, excluding stamina. I might consider making it count stamina as well. In Wallcraft, each of the 5 physical classes, and then Druid as well, but on a separate system, each of the 5 physical classes, Warrior, Paladin, Shaman, Rogue, and Hunter, have different forms of AP gain from their base stats. So each class has 3 base stats which grant AP, and in varying amounts. They're all selected to be balanced across all 5. So, for example, a warrior gains attack power from stamina, strength, and spirit. A paladin gains AP from intellect, stamina, and strength. A rogue gains AP from strength, agility, and stamina. So the way that it's balanced is each class will have a predominant effect, and each effect is used once for each 3 classes in a varying category. Basically, stamina is the best for one class, it's mid-tier for one other class, and it's good but the lowest of the gainers for another class. Essentially, if you make a grid with 5 classes in 3 different columns, you'll see how the balancing works. I can post the formulas if you really want to know. But an example, a shaman gains 1.5 attack power for each point in spirit. They gain 1 attack power for each point in intellect, and 0.5 AP for each point in agility. It balances out each class, and that system fundamentally makes the vanilla stats on items good. Like, I basically don't have to change item stats. The classes just function based on those stats in a very organic and natural way. Hey, it was good talking, SKL. Definitely glad you were here and got to check out some of the stream. Next time I do a stream, the content quality is going to be a little bit higher, better bit rate and everything. I'll have it configured a little bit more. But this was a little bit a spur of the moment here. Definitely glad you stopped by though. Yeah, I'm going to end up ending the stream now. I'm going to go smoke and eat, go hang out. GG's. It was a pleasure, and thank you for stopping by, everybody. Oh, real quick, BBB says, hey, Wall, I went to Developer Island, saw a bunch of training dummies. Did you put them there? Yeah, I was testing out different things there. I would actually stay away from Dev Island right now because there's a ton of traps that I'm testing that will kill you. You won't be able to see them, but they're hidden. So if you wander around, you'll end up getting fucked by a trap. No kappa. Let's see if we can check it out. Wrong one. Dev Island. Designer Island. Nope, wrong one. Programmer. Yeah, Programmer Island. I think it has a bunch of traps still. Yeah, watch out. I wouldn't be walking around here. There's a lot of hidden traps. I'll show you what they do though. In a lot of places in dungeons and open world locations, there's a lot of invisible traps that only rogues can see using detect trap, and they can disarm them. They have pretty devastating effects though. Some of them are very, very strong. For instance, the poison cloud trap does quite a significant amount of damage. If you want to see the traps work in action, go to the Ravenhill Cemetery Crypt. There's a lot of them in there. EVB asks, will Karazhan be bigger than the Colossal Building in Designer Island? There's currently 2 versions of Karazhan. There's TBC version. Let's see. Go there. The TBC version of Karazhan is currently in the game. As an accessible post-Nax dungeon. Actually, I gotta relog. This is teleporting around. Hey, definitely thanks for stopping by, Iburn. The TBC Karazhan raid is fully accessible. It doesn't have anything inside of it yet. It's still gotta add mobs and stuff. This will be a post-Nax 20-man raid. The gearing will be lateral to Nax, so equivalent to Nax gear. Comes after Nax, and is accessible through 3 different entrances, with the 3rd entrance only being accessible once you have obtained Atiash. I'll show you the Atiash entrance. Hey, Nox, how you been? This entrance is accessible once you've completed Atiash, so before you enter into Karazhan, if your guild is very proficient and they complete an Atiash, while doing Karazhan, you'll be able to gain access to the rooftop entrance. Staff will portal you and your raid directly up here, and this entrance allows you to bypass the raid of Karazhan and skip right to Prince. So it's very convenient if you're just trying to farm the later stages of Karazhan. With an Atiash, you can shortcut right to the final boss. You can see that we're right by the chest room in the balcony. Chest room over here, and then Prince is up here. And also has this very nice shade of Medivh that can get you down here. Talk to him and he'll fly you down to the roost landing outside. This custom little flight path here. Take you right down to the 2nd floor entrance, which same entrance as the back door. And of course we have the original alpha version of Karazhan, which I would love to implement, but I'm not really sure how I want to do it, because this thing is massive and a bit unfinished. I would love to finish it, I'll tell you that. I would love to get this thing finished. It is absolutely ginormous, though. Original alpha Karazhan is fucking huge. Takes like 10 minutes to run all the way up to the top here. It is definitely the biggest building that they've added to the open world. I won't call it the biggest thing because there's bigger WMOs that are technically 1 unit just a giant dungeon, but this is the biggest building that I've encountered, at least. And it is massive. There's a lot of things, though, that need to be touched up, like these stairs. Only Taurens can actually walk up them because the model scales for other things are smaller. And, there's some missing walls and portals. So you can, like, see through the building and shit in certain places. But this will eventually be made into an open world raid / world PvP zone. Very similar to the Outlands, the Alpha Outlands that I've added. Which we can go check out real quick. Yeah, the original Alpha Karazhan is just way too big. It's huge. And it's a labyrinth too, it's very hard to navigate. It's the original Alpha Outlands. I also have Gilligan's Isle, but it's not accessible for players. Yeah, and there's some serious issues that need to be reworked. I basically am going to have to redo it in Nugget with TV's vanilla MCLQ fork. Original Outland, though, very nice. Stupid Andy. You can see the Horde base and the Alliance base. They got honor hold over here. Pools of Agonar. Very cool area. I love that there's the specular lighting here. It's added originally. Looks a lot more like a mix. People say it's like a mix between Zanger Marsh compared to the Hellfire Peninsula that we have in TBC. It's definitely got a lot more of a unique feel. I prefer it, frankly, over the TBC Hellfire version. And this place is fucking massive. It's actually bigger than Hellfire. I'd say it's like almost two times. It's like almost 2 times as big as Hellfire. Most of it's totally unfinished, though. Obviously, didn't add anything over here. There's a lot of outer edge areas. And then, of course, Alpha Ironforge, which is still going to require a lot of work. Primarily NPCs and quest scripting and shit like that have to be totally redone, so there's going to be a lot of work involved. Chances are it won't even be fully done for the server launch. Primarily holiday events. I'm going to have to like re-script and re-add all the objects in different places, so it's kind of a nightmare. So it's going to be so much work to the point where I had considered actually just reverting it, but I've come too far at this point. I've already changed way too much to go back now. Anywho, this is the original Alpha Outland, and of course it's accessible through the Dark Portal in Blasted Lands. I'm going to have to relog to make teleports work. Anytime I use GM teleport commands, it tends to break portals, entrances. That's because I haven't done any of the mapping, so the game doesn't actually know where I am right now. It's only accessible once Kazakh is killed. We had somebody try and sneak through here. Kazakh is dead here. So when Kazakh is alive, you actually can't access the portal. You'll get the message saying that it's being guarded by Kazakh. And this allows you to access the portal once Kazakh is dead, subsequently for several days after. This will definitely create a new meta, though, where people will attempt to lock down and control the portal by killing Kazakh to enter with their guild, and then they'll make sure nobody else kills them, because Outland is going to be a big world PvP zone. It's not going to be a new quest. I mean, there will be quests and some quest hubs and stuff like that, but it's primarily going to be a zone that's full of resources and different things that will be valuable to collect and gather. And it's totally world PvP oriented, so it's going to be a war mode-esque zone where you can fight interfaction primarily, but basically guild versus guild zone. So locking down Outland and then making sure you control the portal so nobody else can get through. So you can spend an entire week just harvesting things like Arcanite, Black Lotus, stuff from there. It's very profitable to have control over Outlands. Iburn asks, from other servers that wanted to implement Ironforge Alpha City, there was a lot of lag from the buildings. How do you plan to avoid that? There's no lag. Mine's very optimized. Just go there right now and check it out. Oh yeah, I'm on board. There we go. Yeah, I've experienced no lag issues. I mean, if you have all your settings cranked up and your computer's kind of mediocre, you might need to turn down terrain distance, but I've noticed no issues. It's pretty well optimized. The biggest thing is it's confusing to learn the layout. You basically have to relearn the layout. The city's totally different at that point. And there's a lot of things like NPCs where there's no matching location. Some NPCs, they're in the same building, but the building may have moved, so it's very easy to determine where they should go. There's a lot of NPCs, though, that they're in totally different places, and the building that they were in vanilla doesn't exist anymore in the alpha version, so kind of had to just wing it. I will set up points of interest from the city guard, so you can just talk to a city guard and ask them where shit is, and they'll be able to tell you. For the major things, you know, banks and stuff. In fact, let's go check out the bank. Yeah, this is the bank right here. There's no auction house currently set up, so I have to set that up. Actually don't know if there's auctioneers right now. Yeah, I just slapped the auctioneers right over here. So I'll have to pick out a new building for them to go in. Just because there is no auction house. But obviously that'll be rectified. Let's actually log on to Ally. We can use the flight path. Go to the airport. Wallcraft at one point was open source. The biggest thing is, even if somebody had access to the code, it's outdated by the next day. Just the amount of work that I put in each day. Not so much the case over the past month, just because of migrating to new hardware and stuff. the work's kind of slowed down a little bit, but even if somebody had access to the source code and, you know, my database files and stuff like that, outside of, you know, the obvious concerns of character databases and stuff like that, if somebody copied the server, it would be obsolete in a week because, you know, unless they're developing it at a more rapid pace than me, then what's the point? So, I don't mind open sourcing work that I do. It's not a huge deal for me. Take the flight path to Ironforge from the airport. There's just the irony too. People they still ask me, hey, can I get the Everlook master script and the databases and all that stuff? I say, yeah, go right ahead. And they say, oh wow, I can't believe you gave that to me. And it's like, well, yeah, who cares though? Like, it's obsolete. the fact that you own a 5-minute old copy already makes it outdated. So I have no problem giving away stuff like that. It would be different if there was like some large chunk of proprietary work. But I don't know. That's not really a huge concern. If somebody wants to use something, go right ahead. If there's a lot of stuff in the Wallcraft patch that you can apply to your own server, like the Dwarven, basically any map edits that I've done, you can take from my patch and put on your own server with no issue. I encourage people to go right ahead if they want it. If somebody wanted to use the Alpha Ironforge, they could just take my custom patch and take the ADT files out of it and put it in their own. All the NPCs and stuff, though, would be obviously floating in air and stuck underground, which is the majority of the work, really. I'm not sure what you mean by balance in general. The server's been out for 2 years and we run monthly tournaments. The balance is excellent. Way more balance than vanilla, if that's your concern. More balance than any other custom project, I'll tell you that. I mean, we constantly do PvP and dueling, and the refinement's very, very on point. And you misspelled skeptical. But I'm not a grammar police.
No.
I'm just joshing you. Just yanking your chain there. Yeah, like log on and duel somebody. Trust me, I have a lot of people that will not even log on the server. They'll take one look at a talent and then tell me, well, this needs to change. And I say, how much time have you logged in the server? And they say, well, I haven't even played yet, or I've played 20 minutes. I ask, okay, well, who have you beaten in a duel? Well, I haven't dueled anybody. I haven't run any dungeons. I haven't run any raids. I haven't even played the game, but I'm going to tell you how it should be. It's like, okay, let's hear it. Yeah, like, I hear that all the time. Big Man Tyrone promo video. Oh my God, please. If I got one of those made, I would... Ooh, my life would be complete. Yeah, my biggest encouragement and #1 rule for Wallcraft, any feedback, I will listen to any feedback, and I will definitely take any criticism, but you have to beat me in a duel first. That's the golden rule. A lot of people want to tell me how it should be, but I always tell them, okay, just beat me in a duel first, and then I'll add whatever you want. So far, I've had to add nothing, because I don't lose. But definitely, no cap, like, just log on and duel somebody. There's usually people hanging around, around 2 p.m. Eastern time. Every day we usually gather up on GM Island and duel each other, run dungeons and stuff like that. So, if there is something that's, you know, wonky, I'd definitely fix it. It's not like I'm ever intending to leave something that's broken, but I understand and appreciate a healthy amount of skepticism towards anything, especially with previous projects, but I'll be very frank and say this. A lot of people have skepticism towards any custom changes because Vanilla Plus was done by a drunk, retarded Russian person who had zero idea of development or concepts and had no clue how to balance anything. Like, somebody smoking crack and then adding stuff into the game just on a whim. Is basically what Vanilla Plus was. And I don't mean to insult Vlad, but I played a lot of Vanilla Plus, and the design concepts were just so, like, why? They didn't make any sense. They weren't part of the World of Warcraft ideology, or totally imbalanced. Like, zero perspective as a game designer. Wallcraft doesn't suffer from that. It's definitely a different case there. But it's unfortunate. I wish the project would have began and launched sooner than Vanilla Plus, because Vanilla Plus ruined the taste of custom WoW for a lot of people. It got better over time, but especially when the game came out, like, some stuff just made no fucking sense. Like, he would have a talent, like, improved aspect of the Hawk. This is actually vanilla default state right now. He would have this talent, and then it would just say, and it gives you 7 attack power. Like, what? And it doesn't scale, so it's like, what sense does that make? Compare and contrast to, like, Wallcraft talent, Creature Comforts talent. 33% of your healing received is shared with your pet. 3 points. All the healing that your character gets goes directly to your pet as well. That totally solves the pet survivability issue in raids. Scavenger, this talent, 1 point, your pet no longer needs to be fed and automatically gains loyalty. If you have this talent as a Beast Mastery Hunter, you never have to worry about feeding your pet. They just automatically are fed and gain loyalty. Pet scaling is baked into the talents, stuff like that. Marksmanship, you know, take aim. This is probably, I would even say, this is the talent that gets the most complaints. People love it or they hate it. And I think people, they hate it because they want it to be overpowered. And it's good, but it's not fucking insane. A lot of people think that it should just give you, like, press this button and somebody dies. Take aim allows you to zoom in your attacks as a hunter. So it uses the gnomish spyglass type of effect, but it zooms in your attacks and increases your attack range up to 200 yards. So while zoomed in, you can't move, you can't do anything besides, you know, look around and shoot. But while zoomed in, you can use your aim shot and your volley from max viewing distance. This talent is one of my favorites. I just imagine people sitting up in a tower in Alterac Valley and gunning people down from a mile away. It's not overpowered in any regard because you can only use aim shot and volley. And obviously you're stuck standing still, you can't move around. Some people, though, they don't like the zoom in effect because it changes their camera. So, like, stuff like that I can understand, but it's more so just personal issues that they have with it. In terms of balancing, no, it's totally fine. It's actually, it probably could even use a little bit more of a buff right now. It's probably a little bit undertuned. I would like to, I think it's undertuned because I have view distance currently set at 100 yards and not 200, which it will be 200 for the live server launch. Disengage, Deterrence, Trapper's Net, excellent talents. Disengage is relatively the same as the Wrath of the Lich King version. Trapper's Net is totally custom. Let's see. Grab Trapper's Net. Duel somebody with it. Let's see. Played it till level 26 on a druid. There are a bunch of problems already popping up. For instance, you had Feral Leap, but the skill would hop you forwards, but reset your keyboard inputs. You needed to press WASD again to move after jump. Okay, well, see, that's a 1.12 client thing. Nothing to do with the server, and that's how Intercept, Charge, and other forced movement spells already work in vanilla. So your complaints are unfounded. Go use a warrior's intercept ability and tell me what happens. It's the exact same thing. That's a 1.12 vanilla client issue, and that's nothing I can do about that. So that's not really a balancing issue now, is it? That's more so just you not being familiar with how the 1.12 client works. I'm guessing you played a lot of Classic and not vanilla. I've never played Classic, so I don't have those complaints. and TP fac. I literally could have known that you would have said that when you said, "Oh, I played a druid to 26," because a lot of classic Andes have the same complaint. That's a client issue. That'd be like telling me, "Hey, your server's got balance issues because I can't figure out how to keybind focus target," and I say, "Well, that's not a feature of the 1.12 client now, is it?" That's just how it is. You know, and it's very easily countered. All you have to do is just press the W key again, or learn how to manipulate the movements with the mouse button. In fact, I'll even show you on the druid right now. It's one of those things where it's a 1.12 client thing. There's nothing I can do about it. This is how the client is. And a lot of people have the exact same complaint, but it's like there's nothing I can do. Feral leap. As long as you know how to manipulate the mouse movements, like, totally fine with that. Ooh, I actually have the rank 15 right now. Cool. So yeah, like if let's just say I'm auto running, I use Feral Leap, hands off the keyboard. It stops me moving, and that's because forced movement effects, which intercept, charge, knockback effects, they all share the same mechanic. And it's the client doesn't reissue movement packets upon landing. So it's a client issue. If I used a modified client, I honestly, I couldn't even change that with a modified client. I would have to create some sort of like packet translation layer that automatically issues the packets. But I don't know. But if you, let's say I'm running and I'm using WASD to move, all I gotta do is just Feral Leap and switch to mouse movement. Or let's say I'm using mouse movement. Here, let's see. Good example of it. Using mouse movement, use Feral Leap, just reissue the movement command. It won't interrupt your movement. So, good example, if I'm running, Feral Leap, just push the button again. Like, re-push the button in midair. Let's say I go on a warrior. We can even use charge. Charge is totally unchanged in terms of mechanics. Zax asks, rough time estimate until the project is finished. Finished is subjective, frankly. The project will launch in 2024, most likely sometime middle of 2024. There's still a lot of work to do. Implementing player housing and war modes. Fair Dice asks, will there be auto loot? Unfortunately, no, that's a client issue. However, I do intend on adding a spell which will loot all nearby corpses. So it will be similar to auto loot. In fact, a little bit more powerful, but there's add-ons that already accomplish that, and it's just one of those things where it's like it's a client thing. I can't do nothing about it. So let's say I'm auto running and I use charge, my character stops moving. I still have my hand on the key. If I had on-screen keyboard, in fact, I'd be able to show you visually. But if I'm auto running, I just have auto run turned on and I charge. Hold on. I'll use intercept for the example. If I'm auto running, any forced movement in the 1.12 client causes the packets to not be reissued. It's just a 1.12 thing. Nothing to do with Wallcraft. You'd have the same effect using Feral Leap on any other server. Okay, I don't think it was like this on V+. You had to push it after landing again. Yeah, it's 1.12 client, you have to push it after landing. Just how it is. I mean, maybe there's a server thing, but it's like, again, if your complaint is that you have to push a button after using Feral Leap, like, do it. Do it. I don't think that that's anything to do with balancing. Yeah, it's just a 1.12 client thing. KKNBS, are you still doing everything alone coding-wise? Yes, Wallcraft is an independent project, just me. See, intercept functions a little bit differently. I've noticed if I just hold the key while intercepting, it'll stop me temporarily, and then start me running after an attack command is issued, and that's because the movement packets, intercept has a clear route effect, which maybe I can add to the Feral Leap, and it would trick the client into thinking that I'm not actually rooted, but it's a client thing. Again, I don't want to get hung up on this. I wouldn't free this. I don't even know what talents I got. No, prot. Shit, I got no health. Whoops. Leaving. I got lay on hands. Rip. World buff NPC. I remove it sometimes. Just because it fucks up duels. People use world buffs and shit. Iburn asks, what made you pick vanilla client versus 3.3.5? Because it's a vanilla server, not a Wrath of the Lich King server. Look, it's a vanilla project, man. You've asked multiple times about why I don't use Wrath. Because it's not Wrath of the Lich King. It's vanilla. There's so many fundamental differences. I don't feel like reverse engineering 2 expansions just so we can have a mediocre client that's slightly marginally better. Like, if I were to do that, I would just use Shadowlands client. Cataclysm fine. Like, I understand the sentiment. You know, Wrath of the Lich King is often considered the best of the vanilla era versions of the game. But, it's just one of those things. I prefer vanilla. I like the 1.12 client. I got no problems using it. Angor asks, will Null be playable, Race on Horde? Down the line in the distant future, but for the time being, likely for the first 2 years of the project being launched, I won't use a custom client, and I'll stick with the default vanilla client. I'm looking into possibilities of adding custom race class combos without a custom client, you just wouldn't be able to access them from the character creation screen. It would have to be done in-game. If I were to do that, then you would be able to have your races like Ogre, Naga, Gnoll, stuff like that. You'd be able to have all of them without using a custom client. Sharon's done. GD. Yes, there will be ways to disable experience gains. You'll be able to level 1 Twink. As well, there will be hardcore and several other game modes. Hardcore on Wallcraft is going to be different than One Life. Essentially, it's going to be not permadeath, but risky. Sharam, dude. So much damage. Do you plan to touch crafting, BS, leatherworking, tailoring? Yes, there's already several hundred new recipes. There's 2 new professions, and several more planning on being added. Jewel crafting is currently accessible. Inscription is added, but not accessible for players. I haven't fully implemented it for players. Jewel crafting is available, though. La-di-da. Wallcraft will have a lot more high-tier crafts than traditional vanilla. But there's a lot of crafts that are good that aren't going to cost you an arm plate to make. And that's to help facilitate war mode, because war mode is a risky game mode where you lose items on death. Oh my god, the Sharam proc. Fucking Sharaf. Right at the last second, he gets the Sharam proc from the stun. Brutal. It's such a fucking shit-ass weapon. So cheap. Beauty. He didn't even hit me. That thing fucking spawned. I took a lot more damage there. Prot warrior. not so good against Paladin. I don't know off of that last point. Whatever. La-di-da. Crap, I didn't take on the only fate, though. That don't matter, though. Fucking shut up, dude. Bruh. Iron with constant clicking. If you want peon work, put a wall. Oh, you're talking about construction as a skill. I wonder what the hell you're talking about. not using the right aura. What the fuck am I doing? I should have red aura. Wait. I love that new lay on hands visual. It is the original scrapped animation. The two golden hands flying down. He used DP early. Oh no, I can't. Dummies. Fucking dummies. Couldn't eat. Yeah, I had, in regards to the construction profession for Peon RP, I had considered doing something like carpentry or wood cutting, something like that, but I wasn't really certain on the direction that I wanted to take it or what use it would serve. If there was like a good, valid system or skill set or things that you could make, but there's really not a whole lot of room for expansion in that regard. Which is unfortunate. There is a few skills that I would consider possibly adding. I'd like to obviously survival, jewel crafting, and inscription are going to be added as professionals. Yeah, fucking Sharam is just insane. Yeah, we were wondering how we're protectors of Stormwind. Shit, I think Gamer made us rank 15. Alright. That's where I'm going to end it. GG's, thank you for tuning in, and till next